You're listening to Podcasting Up an Octave, a podcast by Sonivia, the podcasting agency that believes that women and queer people deserve to take up space in the podcasting industry because our thoughts, voices, and stories matter. Here you'll learn how to make a dope podcast that inspires, educates, converts, and most importantly, makes your voice shine. I'm your host, Rue Spence, and I'm here to take podcasting up an octave. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to Podcasting Up an Octave. Today, we are wrapping up our February series about using AI that has been in support of the beta launch of Podcasting on Autopilot, AI that works for you, my podcasting course that released last Friday. Just a quick aside to the people who have given me such lovely feedback already about the course. Thank you. I'm really excited to see where it goes. There are some major updates and overhauls that are coming because I learned a lot in releasing this, and it was a big way for me to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm super excited for what's coming next now that I know a little bit more about what I'm doing and can give you even more quality information to help make your podcasting process smoother, more efficient, and just feel better. So I want to wrap this series up by helping you get paid. I know that a lot of podcasters think about making money with their show, and you deserve that. You are putting in a lot of effort and investment into making your podcast. If you've ever felt like podcast monetization is slow or frustrating or honestly just confusing, you are not alone. Most people think that podcast monetization takes years, and it can if you're limiting your scope of what monetization can look like. But the truth is that if you are strategic, you can start bringing in money way sooner. The problem is that podcasters are stuck doing too much manual work that they get kind of stuck in the weeds and can't see the forest through the trees. The solution is that AI can accelerate every stage of the process. By the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly how to use AI to speed up your path to monetization, whether you want to land sponsors, sell offers, or just grow a listener-supported show. If you want the exact system for putting that into action, there's an entire lesson on how to do that in the Podcasting on Autopilot course, but let's talk about what you can do today for free. The real reason that podcasters typically don't make money fast is because they're putting their effort and time into the wrong things. So much time gets sucked into content creation and admin tasks instead of being able to focus on revenue-generating activities. You don't have systems in place for pitching sponsors or selling offers. So monetization feels flaky and inconsistent, and you're not growing an engaged audience fast enough because you don't have the time to market your show properly. AI helps you create better content faster, as we've been talking about over this last month. You now know how to make your content more efficient so that you have the energy to put into getting that bag. AI can help you repurpose episodes into blog posts, social media content, and newsletters while boosting your SEO to make you more discoverable. And when you offload some of those more admin tasks and you're creating something that you know is going to convert and be engaging to your audience, you are liberated to focus on the tasks that can actually make you money. And just one avenue is sponsorship. And AI can support you in landing more sponsors with less work by helping you create personalized pitches to brands based on who that brand is. I don't get brand pitches, but I do get guest pitches or collaboration pitches, and I can always tell when they're phoned in. It's like, hello, want to work together? And I'm like, no, you don't know me. You haven't put any interest into making sure that we're a good fit for each other. But AI can support you in really tailoring things that feel organic and authentic. Obviously, I always recommend doing the work and actually knowing who you're pitching to, but AI can help you generate that warm and engaging pitch that doesn't feel like you're copy and pasting. Because even if you're pitching to a dozen people, you still want that to feel personal every single time. And AI can also help you identify potential sponsors based on your audience's niche. Say you run a personal finance podcast. AI can help you research brands that are actively sponsoring that type of content, craft a data-driven pitch about your show, and analyze past sponsorship trends to help you set the right rates and ask for the right things. So instead of spending hours on outreach and hours on research, you are sending better pitches in minutes. AI can also support you in selling your own offers with more sales and less effort by creating high-converting podcast calls to action, writing email sequences that nurture leads from listeners to buyers, and helping to structure sales-focused episodes to drive action. So if you're like me, you've got a new online course, instead of guessing how to position your offer in a podcast episode, AI can help you create a high converting episode outline, draft email follow-ups, and even generate your social media repurposed content so that you're making sales. Too often, we're doing these things in kind of opposing cycles, and it feels like I've got the podcast to this one side, I've got social media over here, I've got a newsletter over there, and you're not tying them all together, which makes things feel less cohesive, which makes people feel less confident in buying. If you're ready to make money faster with your podcast, here are 3 things you need to be using AI for. Repurposing content, you're going to be getting more visibility and more opportunities. Using AI to build your sponsorship pipeline. Making sure that you're taking people from pitch to securing the deal, that's going to be made so much more effortless with AI. And finally, streamlining your sales strategy so that your podcast actually makes money. Regardless of what strategy you're taking for monetization, the first thing that you're going to want to do is use AI for visibility and growth. The biggest piece of monetization is your audience. Sponsors, customers, donors, they all have one thing in common. They have to know that you exist before they're ready to pay you. AI helps you grow faster without the grind by repurposing the content that you're already making, and this is something that I talk about time and time again, optimizing your show notes and your episode titles for SEO so that listeners can find you. AI can write keyword-rich show notes that get your podcast ranking on Google and podcatchers. By making sure that you're following these steps, you are growing your audience, and that means you're growing your pool of people who will potentially turn into buyers. And there is a little bit of truth that the size of your audience matters to sponsors. So if you are looking at being paid and monetizing traditionally, then you're going to want to start making sure that you have the right numbers to make you attractive to brands. And I really want to hone in on using AI to sell more of yourself. And first up, I want to talk about Patreon and how AI can support you with generating Patreon content. First up, just ask. Ask AI. Be like, you know my show. What content would be engaging to my audience that they would want to pay me for? And see what it comes up with. See what feels right, take what feels good, and leave what doesn't. But see what ideas it can come up with for you. And then next is asking it what type of digital products or course or coaching you could get from the content that you're making. Even if you're already in a funnel podcast and using it to dovetail in with your business, you are giving so much information week after week that just by going bigger, you could expand into a full-blown ebook, digital download, course, 6-week coaching program, who knows? Just from what you're already doing. Ask AI to analyze your transcripts or analyze your recent episodes and ask it, what would my audience be willing to pay for that's an expansion on these ideas? Of course, you should also be relying on listener feedback, but if you have a quieter audience, and even sometimes bigger audiences can be quiet, especially if your podcast is on more sensitive subjects, you may have a really quiet audience. And that's where using AI to be their voice can help you kind of get in their heads and know what would be beneficial for them and potentially what they would be willing to pay for. All right, because February is a short month, and honestly, you girls' creative juices are tapped from getting this course out into the world, and I also got to drive halfway across the country and help my best friend get married last week, and I've done all the things. I'm going to go hibernate. So let's keep this episode really short so that you can get back out into the world doing what matters and making the content that you love. And hopefully it's feeling a little bit easier with AI. So we've made it through the AI series, and I've gotten some amazing feedback on this series. So if there's anything else in the AI world that you have burning questions about, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to cover them because I'm in my AI era pretty hardcore right now. I'm just finding myself needing systems that make things really easy because everything else is really hard. So if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks for helping me take podcasting up an octave.